Hey guys, welcome to bpromath.net program. Myself Shumit Chakrabarti. I am going to make couple of videos on vectors and 3D geometry. The objective is to ensure that when students go through this video, they will be able to understand what is a vector very easily, and will be able to utilize the learnings whenever it is required. Now, before going into this video, I would just wanted to remind that you need to have some prerequisites to fully appreciate and enjoy this video. Number one is that you should have good understanding of geometry taught in class 9th and 10th, which will be basically triangles and parallelograms and some basic trigonometries. Secondly, you should be conversant with rectangular coordinate system, 2D, and some ideas about 3D. And third is that you should have some good understanding about absolute values, how they are calculated, what are their properties, and things like that. Once you have these basic knowledges, then you will be able to appreciate and understand it very easily. Now, the first thing we'll start is what is a vector. To give one example, first let me tell you that suppose you have got a house and there is a market from your house 4 kilometers away towards east direction, let's say, and from market you go 3 kilometers north and you reach to a college. So first let me draw this so that it is easier for you to comprehend or understand. So as you can see, it's your home, this is the market, this is the college. Let's say this is north direction, and so this direction will be east, right? Now suppose one of your friends has got an admission into a college and he would like to come to your house, and then you would like to go to the college on the day of admission. Now while talking, he asks you that what is the distance of market from your house. You say it's 4 kilometers. That's fine. Now actually day before the admission he comes to your house, and in the morning on the day of admission he asks you that tell me where the market is. Now if you say 4 kilometers, then probably he will not understand. You have to say that from my home go 4 kilometers east and then you will reach the market. And then he asks you how from market how to go to the college. Then you will say go north side 3 kilometers, you will reach to the college. Now just see that when he asks you what is the distance between the market and your house, first you said 4 kilometers, but when he actually wants to go, you have to say 4 kilometers east. If you don't give the direction at this point of time, then he will not be able to understand where the market is. So a vector many times represented the point or position of a point on a coordinate system. So let me just give the name of these points as well: A, B, C. Now when you say that market is 4 kilometers east of my house, actually you are talking about a vector which is AB. You are representing a vector AB, and this vector, the magnitude of this vector, which is represented like this, is 4 kilometers, and then it has got a direction which is towards east. So this is a vector. So a vector will have two things. A vector which is represented like this will have two things. One will be a direction and the other will be the magnitude. Now contrast this with respect to other things, other measurement that we also come to our day-to-day life. For example, somebody asks you, I have to go to that place and I have to wait there for 20 minutes. So he will talk about 20 minutes waiting, which does not have any direction. Or suppose somebody asks you, what is your weight? You say, my weight is 50 kg or 55 kg. Now these are the measurement without any directions. These are called scalar quantities. Which is just a number. So it's just a number, only number, nothing else. Number with appropriate units. Whereas a vector will have two things. One will be a number with units plus a direction. So this is the difference between vectors and scalars. Hope it is clear to you what is a vector and what is a scalar and what are their differences. We can take some example and tell whether these are vectors or scalar. So let me take couple of examples and let me give more explanation as to what is a vector and what is a scalar. For example, weight of a person or weight of something, these are in kgs. It does not have any direction, so it will be scalar. Now point number 2, waiting for train in a station in hours. What is it? It is scalar or vector? It is scalar. Point number 3, velocity of wind. Today the wind is blowing at 20 kilometers per hour towards southeast direction. Here you see you have to specify the direction of wind and the speed of the wind. When we say both the things together, it becomes a vector. Similarly, but when I say the speed of the car is say 25 kilometers per hour without mentioning any direction, then it becomes a scalar. So please remember, whenever we talk about vector, it will be a measurement and magnitude plus a direction. So these are the differences between vector and scalar. Hope it is clear. So again, I have redrawn the home and the market and the college, and we said that vector AB is such a vector that its length is 4 kilometers, that is this distance, okay, and the direction is east. Also, when we say vector AB, it also means that the position is starting at point A and it is terminating at point B. So this is called an initial position. This is called initial position of the vector, and this is called the terminal position of the vector. Terminal. So when you say AB, actually you are trying to say that vector is originating from point A and terminating at point B. Now, if we understand what is AB, what is this vector? What is the magnitude and the direction? The magnitude of BC, as we have defined here, it is 3 kilometers. And direction is north. So this is vector BC. What is the terminating and initiating point of vector BC? The initial point of vector BC is B and terminating point is C. So initial and terminal point. Many times what happens is that instead of writing vector like this, you can also represent vector just by a small letter. For example, you say this is vector A. In that case, you don't give the full description from which point to what point it is going. You just say vector A, and in that case the length or the magnitude of A is denoted like this. This is also quite frequently used, especially when you write vectors in component forms, which we are going to come later. So this is also done. So every vector will have an initial point and a terminating point. Now suppose for some vector, is it possible to have initial point and terminal point same? Yes, that is possible. And in that specific case, when the initial point is same as terminal point, it is called a zero vector. And it is represented like this. It means the initial position and the terminal position, it is same, and the magnitude of this vector is 0, and this is represented by 0. The only vector which does not have any direction is a zero vector, because its magnitude is not there. So there is no point from here to here it is going. So there is no direction. Or in another way we can say that it has got all directions. Anyway, this is an extreme case, only one case is there of vector 0. Now while dealing with vectors, there is a term which will come quite often, and so often that we many times will omit it. It's called free vector. As the name suggests, it means that a vector is a free vector when I can move this vector parallelly. For example, there is a vector A here. I should be able to move this vector parallelly to any place as long as the direction is same and the magnitude is same. So I will call also this A. Here if we bring it, I will also call it A. If it is here, only thing is that the magnitude has to be same and the direction needs to be same. So a free vector is a vector where I can move these vectors freely parallel to the original position when the vector is given. So this is called free vector. In all our discussions henceforward, it will be only for free vectors. That means for any treatment I can move the vector from any place to another place as long as the direction remains same and the magnitude remains same. So this is called a free vector. Two vectors, let's say one vector A and there is another vector B. Two vectors are called equal only when the magnitude of A is same as the magnitude of B and the direction of A is the same as direction of B. Then only these two vectors are same. So when we say in algebraic term A is equal to B, it means that mod of A or the magnitude of A is equal to magnitude of B and direction of A is parallel to or same as direction of B. So this means two vectors are equal. Now think about a vector which is A. If I have got another vector which is of same magnitude as A but the direction is opposite, it is called negative of vector A and it is represented as minus A. So every vector will have a negative vector of its own, which will be equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. If this direction is this, it will be just opposite direction. So then it is called the negative of that vector. Now there is a concept of addition of vectors. What is that concept? Let's go back to this home, the market and the college again. Now we said from home you come 4 kilometers to east to reach to the market, and from market you go 3 kilometers north to reach to the college. So this is first vector AB and then the second vector is BC. See that there is something. The terminal point of A is the initial point of B, and when it happens, then there is a concept of AB plus BC. Now what is happening here? Ultimately you are reaching to the college, right? So you can go from your home to market, market to college. We are considering to go to market and market to college because our roads are like that. Suppose there is no road, it's, let's say it's field, absolutely plain field, you can choose any direction and you can go. So what you can do is, instead you can go from A to B to B to C, or you can go A to C directly. So this displacement from A to B, B to C is the same displacement as A to C, and the way we can write it, AB plus BC is AC. This is the vector addition. Suppose I can represent AB as A, BC as B, then let's say C is this. So AB, A plus B is equal to C. So this is vector addition. So this is called, like if a vector is A plus there is another vector B. Now from here to here, if you reach, it is C. So it is A plus B is equal to C. So this is called the triangle law of vector addition. So from here, if you go there, from here to here, that means we are going from here to here. So this is called the triangle law of vector addition. So suppose two vectors are given, how we can add those two vectors? Suppose graphically two vectors are given, how we can add those two vectors? For example, let's say I am putting also the scale and the direction. This is A and this is, let's say, B. How do I add these two vectors? The rule is, first you draw A, then whatever is the terminal point of A, you put the initial point of B here and draw a parallel to B. So this becomes A and this becomes B, and the addition of A plus B will be given by this vector. So C is equal to A plus B. Look at these two vectors, vector A and vector B has been given. What will be A plus B? How do I find it out? What I'll do is A is here. I'll put this initial point of B here and draw B here. So it will be having, this will have the same vector as B. As we said that vectors are free, I can always move the vectors parallelly. So I'll move this vector parallelly. I'll bring the initial point of B to the terminal point of A. So whatever shape I get, I add these two. This will give me the addition of A plus B. And actually you can find out using triangle cosine laws, you can find out the value of C if A and B magnitude and direction is being given. That will come to later on. Now let us see how to subtract two vectors. For example, one vector has been given like this, A, and there is one vector. How to subtract B from A? Now if you see this, we can write it as we said earlier. Every vector will have a negative of its own. So this I can say it as A plus minus of B, right? So basically I am adding with A the minus of B vector. Now what is minus of B? If this is B, if I put equal length and opposite direction, it will become minus B. And what I have to do is this initial point of minus B, I'll put it here and I'll draw minus B here, and this will give me the A minus B. See the please also see that what will be A plus B. A plus B will be A here, and then I put the initial point of B here, and this is plus B. So this vector is A plus B, and this vector is A minus B. So subtraction is nothing but the addition of the negative of that vector. A vector can always be multiplied by a real number. For example, a vector is been given here, this is vector A. I can always multiply it by some real number. Let's say I multiplied vector A by half. So this will become itself a vector, and this vector will be the same direction as A. The magnitude will be half of A. So basically this vector, this itself is a vector, it will be represented half of A, and the direction will be same as A or parallel to A. Direction is same means it's parallel. So this is half of A. This magnitude will be half of mod A. Similarly, if it is 2A, so the direction will be with the original, it will be parallel to original, but the magnitude will be double. So this is 2A, this vector is 2A. Similarly, when I say 3A, it means it will be 3 times the magnitude of A. So this is 3A. So from here we can say that if I talk about a vector B is equal to lambda A, where lambda is a real number, it's called real number. or scalar. Real number is a scalar. So when a vector is multiplied by a scalar number or a real number, it will become another vector which will have the length proportional to the real number, direction same as the original vector. It also shows that if any vector I can represent like this, if two vectors are related like this, where this is one vector and this is another vector and this is a multiple of this vector A, this implies that these two vectors B and A are parallel. So this is a understanding or a corollary. So if I can put one vector in terms of another vector into multiplied by a real number, then these two vectors are parallel vectors. So these are the very basics of vectors. We'll just do couple of exercises, and then we'll go to the next section, which will be the components of vectors and some properties of vectors that we'll do in the next video. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please go to bpromath.net to get more ideas about mathematics. If you want to participate in some discussion, or if you want something else, I request you to visit this site. Thank you very much.